Hello everyone. Hope you are guys are well. Today I will discuss about the offshore accident lawyer. So this is a very important topic for the peoples, and I will discuss with you about the offshore accident lawyer. So at first we have to understand or you have to know that what is offshore accident lawyer. So an offshore accident lawyer fights for your rights, and anytime you suffer an accidental injury on any type of vessel of on the sea, the incident may occur on a ship of some sort or offshore platform, on a dock, or a helicopter transporting crew from and land. It is important that you hire a Austrian offshore accident lawyer that will thoroughly investigate the claim to determine who is liable and what laws apply. Call Simons and Fletcher's PC injury and accident lawyers for a free consultations regarding your offshore injury claim. We work on contingency fee basis of that you pay nothing upfront and no authority fees unless we make a recovery in your case. To determine which law applies, you need an offshore accident lawyer who will thoroughly investigate the claim and very detailed record. The logs are kept by the companies in charge of offshore vessels. These records must obtain the review of determine whether proper procedures were followed. Moreover, in serious injury cases, nothing tells the story about better than going to scene of conducting an inspection. As Simeons of the flexure PC, we can investigate the scene, the retain of bring experts is required to get a full picture of what caused an event. So now we discussed about the offshore accident lawyer in shortly. So now we will discuss the offshore accident lawyer broadly with this website, and this website will also help us to getting knowledge from know about the offshore accident lawyer. Like here they mentioned that working offshore can be exciting, but it can also be dangerous. Yeah, sometimes some work is easy to do, or some works are harder, and some works are dangerous. So we see in the movies the role played by a hero. There are some dangerous scene, there are some romantic scene, there are also a comedy scene. So in the offshore, there has a dangerous case in the offshore. So no matter how many safety restrictions of take, accidents and injuries are common and sometimes fatal. Offshore workers can experience devastating injuries caused by dangerous conditions on the offshore platforms, crew boats, jack-up rigs, and tankers, and in the ocean itself. Workers often are sufficiently trained and work long hours with few breaks, making the risk of injury even higher. When a serious injury occurs in an offshore accident, it can be emotionally and financially devastating for the victim. It can also be hard to determine where to start when it comes to recovering damage from the personal injury and wrongfully death. A good place to start is to contact an offshore accident lawyer with experience in personal injury of maritime law who can wade through the complex detail of your case and help you get to the best recovery possibly. There are some common cases of offshore accidents. We will go through to this topic and we will get the knowledge about the common cases of offshore accident. As like we can see, offshore and oil field accidents are often preventable. They can be happen during basket transfers, line handling, vessels, collisions, and diving operations. Many accidents are the same as you would encounter in many workplaces, such as equipment failures and slip and falls. But because working offshore is a more high risk workplace environment, and injury may also result from a fire or explosion. Despite the big budgets associated with the oil industry, there is something very little training of oversight on an oil rig. This type of employer negligence can result in an unsafe working environment that leads to unqualified employees and performing dangerous tasks that they are not properly trained for and resulting in serious injury. Offshore accidents commonly lead to head trauma, spinal injury, several limbs, and other serious injuries. These injuries are often especially caused by the option in here they given that well rig injuries. When workers on well rig use complex and cumbersome equipment of drill and perform other tasks, many workers are not properly trained on how to use the needed equipment, which increases the risk of offshore accidents caused by the human error. And another signature is dig accidents. The dig of an oil rig can be a chaotic environment where present workers must constantly be a high alert. Working are surrounded by tip hazards, fall hazards, electric hazards, crash hazards, and pinch point hazards. They can easily be struck by heavy equipment, slip on wet surface, or fall when the sudden large of the vessels causes them to lose their balance. Another is equipment failure. When equipment on the offshore vessels fails, it can be result in a number of several injuries. Workers can be burned or electrocuted, crushed, and even lose limbs. Operating machinery on an oil rig requires a high level of caution to prevent injuries from occurring. Another one is fire and explosions. While not common, fires and explosions are some of the most deadly causes of offshore accidents. They can be happen as the result of improperly stored fuel, poorly maintained piping lines of collisions between vessels. When there's a fire, workers may have a jump of the rig into the ocean, often from a height of at least 100 feet. Even though workers are typically trained in the proper way to jump, the state of the situations may result in a jump that leads to several injuries of growing, and accidents caused by fire and injury can lead a life altering injuries and even the loss of an entire vessels. And there is other vessels. So about the other vessels, injuries can be commonly occur on the tugboats and barges. This including falling overboard, to line parting and handling heavy lines. If helicopters are used to transport workers offshore, there's a risk of injury from a helicopter crash. Overall, from these categories or these lines, they have make an overall result. They said when you have experienced any type of offshore accident, no matter the case, it can be physically or emotionally traumatic. You may find yourself trying to heal from your injuries when figuring out how to deal with the loss of a regular and substantial paycheck for supports your family. Our offshore accident laws in Oten and Texas are here to help you determine the case of your accident and the way you get fine you're financially on your feet again. Here's another title. They said about the damages in an offshore accident case. An offshore accident can be a devastating of you and your family. You may have injuries that require extensive and ongoing medical attention of rehabilitations, leading to medical bills that seems to keep piling up. Or a family may have experienced a fatal accident that has caused endless pain of suffering when you have also lost your main source of income. It can be feel like you never find relief. An offshore accident lawyer can help you determine the amount of damages you may be able to require negotiated on the behalf of make sure you get the best recovery possible. Depending on your case, you may be the eligible for damages that include lost wages, medical expenses, disfigurement, and emotional trauma and pain of suffering. Here they mention that if you damage on the seaside or on the subject you are going for the going to the lawyer and you got some damages on your products or on your like what said on your environment or on your property. If the damage by the seashore on the seashore, they will recover it by the offshore accident lawyer. You will be relieved from this problem by the lawyer, and if you go and if you make a argument with them, then they will recover your damages or they will give you some monies for recovering yourself and to continue your business. So let's see on the other side what they said. Your attorney will make you sure have all the needed medical records and documentations to prove technical costs associated with your injury. They will also show how you lost the wages and affects you financially and make you sure to third parties are held responsible for your negligence. So if you want help or if you want some monies from them, then you have to give them proof that you was in a real accident or you are a real person who come to them for the financial support, and they will search it, and they will, if they find that you are real, then they will help you by the financial. So let's see the next part about what factors can affect your offshore accident case. What factors can affect your offshore accident case? Okay. Offshore accident cases can be complicated. You will never need to determine who you can legally bring a claim against, how workers' compensations affects your claim, and how much insurance coverage is available and in which jurisdictions you can bring your lawsuits. There are a variety of factors that can affect your case, especially when you are attempting to show negligence on the part of the employer, including the following. So the following lists are the amount of risks taken. When worker works offshores and the oil fields is extremely high risk, the steps you may be required to take a get oil and gas out of the ground may not even be permitted in the many other industries. But because of how lucrative and results can be when you hit pockets of the oil or gas, you may feel pressured by your employer or the other employees to engage in unsafe practice of take bigger risks to get them your job done. These practices are often commonplace. However, in order to lessen the perceptions of their negligence, your employer may try to show that you didn't have engaged in those high risk behavior. So that is one following task. And then another is lack of oversight. If you have a lack of oversight, then this task is for you. There is often no engineer oversights on a rig, meaning equipments and structures and makeshift and assemble with people who learn from experience rather than official training. When you are doing things like drilling or running high pressure fracking lines on the fly without technical guidance, accidents are bound to happen. And next, following list is insufficient training. Employees often use machinery on an oil rig without any training, which can result in injury. They may also be performing tasks that are way outside of their regular duties, such as acting as fire crew, which can put all other employees at risk as well. Another following list is sleep deprivations. The average offshore workers work at least 12 hours a day for week on end and is often woken up in the middle of the night to receive and unload a ship. When they are right crew, there may be a need for extra crew on deck. Because of the amount of profit they may be lost when they are delayed. Many employees want employers to go as fast and far as they can, which often means little sleep and more room for error. Okay, the next following list is how much insurance will pay out. So, how much insurance will pay out? Most oil companies are self-insured up to a point, and after that they have an insurance company pay out the rest. Insurance companies may try to adjust their portion of claim to make sure the oil companies attempts to settle the claim reasonably so they don't have to pay out any money. The overall thing is oil companies often take shortcuts when it comes to operating of oil rigs because it can be less expensive than making sure employees are properly trained to do things right way. While this may the standard in the industry, it can lead to many preventable injuries. Um, Now we will see how an offshore accident lawyer can help. How an offshore accident lawyer can help. This is a question. Yeah. As a tactic to avoid paying out damages, it's common for employers to deny that they are responsible for any injuries to their employees on the offshore rig or oil field. Instead, they usually attempt to pass the buck into their employees and claims that it was their actions alone that causes the offshore accident. They may claim that the employees had a right of spoken out and stopped their entire rig in its stick, and if they saw something unsafe or needed more some time to sleep. When employers may even attempt to retaliate against employees who bring a suit by making it more difficult for them to find other jobs in the industry. Because all of this, it can be difficult to decide it if you want to pressure a lawsuit, especially if you fear that you will be blamed for the offshore accident or blacklisted from the industry. An offshore accident lawyer will help ensure that this doesn't happen to that facts your injury are brought and surface. A lawyer experienced offshore accidents knows how to detect these types of critics and makes sure evidence doesn't get switched to fit the employer's versions of events. They can also help you round up witness of the offshore accident and get statements that show you side of the story. Offshore accident authorities are also intimated familiar with maritime law, which was created to help protect workers in the event injuries, accidents, and illness. Maritime laws only protects people who work offshore, and specific requirements must be met to recover an action of under the law. An unexperienced authority will know how to make maritime law and any other law that apply work in your favor. Why hire FBF to help with your offshore accident? Why? There's a question to you guys. Why hire FBF to help with your offshore accident case? So I have question for you. I will not give you the answer for this question. I need question from you. Do you know what's the answer for this? Okay. Let me tell you the answer. Our experienced offshore accident lawyers at FBF are here to help you get your life back to take following an injury or wandering full death on an oil rig. We have litigated that types of injuries around Texas and frequently travel around the state of the prosecute offshore accident claims. We work tirelessly to advocate for you, interviewing witness, consulting with offshore and medical experts, and conducting any needed investigations into your injury. We aim to get women's I don't the FBF law. Okay, so the FBF law aims to get you or your family the best financial recovery for and provide support and guidance in the midst of difficult circumstance. So this is a topic about the injury of offshore accident laws. So under 23 United States, like section 1333 subsections B and the C, Congress extended of the Longshoremen's to Harbor Workers Compensations Act to cover employers other than masters members of any crew and vessels who are working on the outer constitutional shelf in the explorations and the development of the natural source. This is what known as the Water Contingental Shelf Plans Act, and it proves that for the payment of compensations for disability or death suffered while working on the negligible workers and in the United States, it is effectively workers' compensations for the certain marine workers and many docks workers that not otherwise covered by the Jones Act. Uh, so do you know what's the Jones Act? So let me tell you about the Jones Act, which don't have in this website. So I will tell you by myself about the Jones Act. The Jones Act provides certain protections of workers on the sea vessels, which includes jack-up rigs and well rigs that are not attached to the ocean floor, and such as the floating of the rig and the drill ships. Under the Jones Act, covered employers can recover their pain and suffering, disability, medical expenses, and the lost wages. The workers' offshore injury law must have shows that damage suffered were caused by the negligence of the employer. Uh, However, unlike all these areas of laws, burden of proof under the Jones Act is lower than normal. It's considered as fit weight burden because you must not tile a scale for the judges and in your favor by the fit weight to win. This gives the injury workers and his offshore exchange lawyer a major advantage. So, do you know the offshore injury and personal accident injury law? No, obviously you don't know. I'm here to giving you knowledge or knowing you. So I will tell you the offshore injury and personal statement injury laws. Uh, Offshore injuries are that do not fall under the above laws may be covered by the state personal injury laws, and the state laws that applies to typically defined by approximately of the accident because the laws vary from the state of the state and above acts may also apply. You may should hire an offshore injury authority to determine which advantage and recovery are available for you. So state of limitation in the offshore accidents are like the is the deadline by which your injury lawsuits and claims must be filed or you lose the right of the bring it. Because of offshore injuries may fall under different federal and state laws. The state and limitations may also vary. You should consult an offshore injury lawyer immediate to determine your rights and limitations. Uh, some author is like he was his name was like yeah, Paul Cannon, as I remember. Paul Cannon said the author is a famous author. You have to understand, you have to know him. He said that Paul Cannon has practiced the personal injury trial law since I think, yeah, no, I think it's pretty like 1995. He is a broader certified personal injury trial law by the Texas board and legal specifies that since 2005, right? Yeah, 2005. He was earned recognition as a super lawyer by Thomson Reuters in 2017 to 2020. Yeah, as an and in the top 100 trials lawyer by this National Trial Laws Associations, 2017 to 2022. He is a shareholder trial lawyer and online marketing manager at the Simmons of Fetchers. PC, his legal, sorry guys, his legal Texas bar journal business dot is like very like educational talks and medical interviews regarding personal injuries and law issues. Uh, he said about this for the potentials in the most state like everyone inquiries or requires how lawyers and law to purchase the carrier for some minimum auto insurance. In addition to the minimum requirement of coverage, there are many options types of coverage that derives of liability of state may chosen themselves or may carry because their cannot lender require them to carry it because people are all required to carry insurance car accidents victims and sometimes make some mistakes for the thinking that they get an weakness and shorting it out of the simple things and handle of their own like unfortunately this is too often to know the case and insurance of the contract. They owe to contractual duties and nothing more. If they can find to way to avoid payment under the terms and contract, they will never forget how to contract did them. And if you do mistakes like do the other diverse instance adjust for their for like your friend and insurance adjustment adjusters like for the other drivers insurance have two jobs and fight for the other drivers interest to fight or keep the insurance company's money. These insurance companies train them to various tactics and that the unsuspected bodily and injury claimant on the unaware of. These tactics are aimed to lowering the value of your claim and that pay you less more money. And they include such things like trapping you in the recorded statement, delaying you in medical care, following you in advice to the cost of come out your settlement offer, and settling your claim before you know the full cost of the harm done to you. And if you are like support being tactics are being used on you, consult a lawyer and who handle bodily injuries claims and arising from your car accidents. So for the car accidents and record, there are as I know that recorded statement steps in bodily injuries claims are like recorded statements have been and favorite tools of the insurance adjusters of the valuable and rival your bodily injury and claims may years. And did you know that it quote they can rarely benefit you and almost executely be used against you? Do you know this? This is the truth because the recorded statement itself is a inimitable hears by and a statement made out of the court offered and prove the truth of matter asserted. However, there's a expectation of the heresy and rule of the allows all of part and statement that can be admitted. It is an admissions of against interest. So if you try to offer any parts of statement and suffer support from your case, and they can object to as an harass by and but if you there offers any part of your heart's case in the admission of against interest because recorded statements are powerful tools and really only benefit the adverse party and insurance companies spend countless hours and training their insurance adjusters on the asked questions and aim the thinking of the constructed against you. In short, do not against agree to get you and give you a recorded statement pertaining in your car accident and bodily injury claim without the advice consult. So as a delaying your medical care to devalue your body injury claim. If like delaying your medical care to devalue your bodily injury claim, what should you do? Many adjusters tell you to they are accepting liability for the wreck when you insured that obviously it's fault. They will then work diligently to get the property damage claim resolved. Do not make the mistake of thinking that this means they will be equable to helpful in the getting you the medical care you need. The value of your care property damage and pretty much is repair cost of the replacement cost. And however, with property damage, an insurance company may held liable to damages and accomplished by such as strong fees and compensations of losses and use of like the vehicles. In order to limit this, they offer action act like often setting on property damage claims. When it comes to be bodily injury claimed, however, the other drivers insurance have no obligations of pay medical bills. As you go on north, do they will do heavy and help you to obtain medical care if you do not can afford it. They typically will assign a separate adjuster who will be such much less accommodations. Adjusters will often tell bodily injury claimants and go to the medical care of the pay for their out of pocket, and then he will discuss a lump sum and settlement on the end. The problem is that the victim of the offer already financially strapped from their accidents and inability to work. The adjuster knows that he is the injury claimed to hard up cash and due to having a bad fund of the bills for their medical care. And then the claimants may stop going care for missed appointments because of their costs. So this ultimately ruthless and settlement value of the case that saves insurance companies money. Furthermore, these claimants will be more disparate and accept whether law often and adjusters make at the end. This issue can be avoided by the using your health care and filling on your own injury protections insurance policy and or having a lawyer issue or a letter to protection to allow you to do treat or credit. I would like to tell you about the failing of advise you at what must be paid out of the year statement. So let's see you had an accident and your health insurance paid the hospital bill directly. So you'll your typically fill your auto insurance and you'll get paid and not only paid like $500 and on your out of the pocket, and now the adjuster offers you like 500 plus and $4,500 for your travels. Is this a fair settlement for offer? Do you think this is a settlement offer, a fair settlement offer? Five times your out of the pocket expenses sure sounds and tempting, but hold on. This moment you say to them to do, you are agreeing accepting 5,000 on the settle your claims. Your case is settled. Texas law says verbal arguments are failing. After you accept your money, you may not be able to do rude awakening. Like that is when you adjuster says, okay, now that we'll have an agree and settle, I need to check these lines. What lines? You say what lines? So almost in health insurance policies, and you have what called surrogations claims, lion. Yeah, lion. Additionally, Medicare and Medicaid have the license of kid by the statute. And what this lies means in that if you collect any money as a result of injury that paid for the medical care you receive, then they have reimbursed fast out of the process. And so if your health insurance out of like 4,000 and you are getting that money taken out of like 5,000. Also, if you are photo policy portions your cryptographics and fields under the medical payments coverage policies, then you have to reimburse them what they paid. You could wind up and owing more than you were being to paid. Lastly, there are whys and lines that have nothing to do with your case, which by the law or must be paid by the insurance company before you receive any of your settlement. So this includes tax slides and child support slides. Thus, you need to know how to do in county and lines and check the verified related medical and lines amount the before you know whether the offer is fair or not. This is up to you to understand this is fair or not. So you have to think before and before. So you are doing a thing and this is fair or not. So I will tell you about the settling body injury or claim like before you know your losses. So it is uncommon for the insurance adjuster to call you up to the day and accident and say, let's see how agree and settle and for the amount of your medical bills and plus $500 more than US compensations. You may not feel the full effect yet, but your verbal agree and settle, you are stuck with a settlement for the amount of the like $500. So it should be turned out and need more medical care, and that's how your problems pay and not theirs. So I will stop my discussion here with some conclusions. So if you have any questions about my topic or about my video, please thumbs your questions on my comment below. And now I will tell you the last lines and conclusions for this video or for the law. Do not make the mistakes of thinking the insurance adjuster is there is no help you with your bodily injury claim following an auto accident. Do not, do not make mistakes to go on there. Adjusters are there to save the insurance company's money, not to treat you fairly. Have you got my point? This is the truth. This is the truth. Talk to an attorney about your bodily injury if you have any concern that you are feeling ticked and or you will be trapped. These all are false from my experience, from my own experience. This is false. So don't go there and don't waste your money on there. Don't believe on them, and they will say you come and make an insurance to us, but you have knowledge, get knowledge, and you don't go there because they will make mistakes, and don't make mistakes to go to be with them. So that's all for my video. So hope you guys enjoys my video, and if you likes my video, then give a thumbs and subscribe my channel, and hope you guys well. Okay, have a nice day.